What if I told you that some of the most unforgettable viral moments from the 1980s, the ones people swore were real, taped off their living room TV and passed around on VHS, were never real at all? Hidden hoaxes, staged pranks, and fabricated footage fooled millions long before YouTube was even born. These clips spread through late-night talk shows, magazine write-ups, and whispered rumors at school lunch tables. And while they felt groundbreaking at the time, many were nothing more than elaborate illusions. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on 20 of the most shocking so-called viral videos of the 80s that turned out to be completely fake. Some were debunked years later, others still cling to urban legend status, and a few were so well crafted that even seasoned critics fell for them. Let's begin. Number 20. The Lost Concert That Never Happened. Imagine finding a VHS labeled 1983, Michael Jackson's Secret Show, at a garage sale. Grainy footage, flashing lights.
You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal.
The king of pop seemingly performing an unheard track. This lost concert clip made waves in the late 80s and again in the early 2000s when it resurfaced online. Fans swore it was real, passing it around as proof of a forgotten performance. But the truth? It was a cleverly edited splice of existing Jackson tour footage with overdubbed audio and fake crowd shots. What's striking is how people wanted to believe it. In an era where no one could quickly fact-check, this kind of trick could live on for years, spreading by word of mouth. And the nostalgia factor only amplified the lie when it re-emerged online decades later. People weren't just watching a clip, they were defending their own memories. But this wasn't the only time music and myth collided. If a fake concert could fool fans, imagine what happened when an entire music video itself turned out to be staged propaganda. Number 19. The Wax Michael Jackson in Torture. In 1984, the Jacksons released their music video for Torture. At first glance, it was just another over-the-top 80s visual feast. Neon lights, surreal effects, and wild costumes. But sharp-eyed fans noticed something odd. Michael himself wasn't really there. His appearances were either recycled stock footage or, according to rumors, an actual wax figure propped up in place of him. The wild speculation became a viral talking point in the mid to late 80s. Did the biggest pop star in the world actually skip his own music video? For years, insiders denied it, until behind-the-scenes admissions later confirmed that Michael didn't show up to filming, and stand-ins, mannequins, and editing tricks filled the gap. This revelation floored fans. A major star at the peak of his fame, completely absent from one of his most famous videos? It showed just how easily audiences could be manipulated by creative editing. Number 18. The fake celebrity cameos on VHS. During the VHS boom, grainy home tapes began circulating with wild claims, secret celebrity appearances caught on cam. People swore they had tapes showing Eddie Murphy dropping into a college party, Madonna sneaking into a club, or even Arnold Schwarzenegger getting into a street fight. These supposed random captures were traded like gold among fans, but the truth was far stranger and faker. Most of these clips were stitched together from TV broadcasts, commercials, and unrelated footage. Clever editing and the poor quality of VHS made it believable. A blurry shot of a man in sunglasses became Schwarzenegger. A singer on a dimly lit stage was suddenly Madonna crashing a private show. What made these fakes powerful was timing. In an age before HD clarity or fact-checking sites, once someone said, "This is real," it became gospel. People filled in the blanks with their own imagination, and soon false memories spread like wildfire. Number 17. The fake news riot clip. In the mid-1980s, a short, chaotic video began circulating on VHS, supposedly leaked from a local news station. It showed violent street riots breaking out after a concert, complete with smashed storefronts and panicked reporters running for cover. The grainy quality, shaky camera work, and screaming crowd felt authentic, and for years, people swore it was real. Some even linked it to specific cities, claiming they remembered it happening. But years later, the truth surfaced. The entire thing was staged. It wasn't leaked news at all, but a student film project shot with extras, staged props, and actors pretending to be journalists. Somehow, the footage escaped the classroom and hit the bootleg tape circuit, where it morphed into evidence of a real historical event. The biggest shock? Even seasoned media outlets were briefly duped when the clip resurfaced in the early 2000s, reporting it as rediscovered raw footage. It proved just how fragile memory is when confronted with a convincing fake. Number 16. The 1983 UFO tape. Picture this: a shaky camcorder, a panicked voice whispering, and a glowing saucer hovering above a dark suburban neighborhood. In 1983, a clip like this spread through swap meets and collectors' circles, becoming one of the most infamous UFO sightings of the decade. It was replayed in documentaries, cited in UFO magazines, and even whispered about on late-night radio. But decades later, digital forensics ripped the illusion apart. The UFO was nothing more than a light rig suspended from wires, filmed through layers of glass to create the eerie shimmer. Even the audio was faked, a dubbed witness track recorded in a studio. What's most shocking is how long the lie lived. Believers clung to it for nearly 20 years before the hoax was finally admitted by the creator, who confessed it was a prank gone too far. The video didn't just fool fans of the paranormal, it rewired entire communities to believe they had witnessed proof of alien life. And if people could be persuaded aliens had visited their neighborhood, what came next was even darker. A clip that claimed to show a hidden cult meeting in the late 80s. A video so disturbing that many thought it was forbidden evidence. Number 15. The cult gathering tape. In 1987, whispers began spreading about a forbidden tape that allegedly showed a secret cult meeting. The footage, dimly lit, with hooded figures chanting around a fire, was passed around underground VHS networks. To those who saw it, the tape felt like raw proof of something sinister lurking just beneath suburban life. Parents panicked. Teenagers dared each other to find copies. Even some church groups cited it as evidence of hidden satanic rituals in America. But the truth, once revealed, was almost anticlimactic. It was staged by an amateur filmmaker trying to mimic horror movies of the time. The cloaked figures, local college theater students, the chants, nonsense phrases written to sound ominous, and the eerie flickering firelight was nothing more than a backyard bonfire shot through cheap lenses. Still, the myth stuck. Because in the 1980s, before fact-checking was instant, the line between lost footage and fake performance blurred dangerously. And this cult hoax paved the way for even bigger deceptions. Because if people could be convinced they were watching a ritual in the woods, just wait until you hear about the so-called paranormal home videos that terrified entire neighborhoods. Number 14. The lost TV pilot that never existed. In the late 80s, collectors whispered about a lost TV pilot from a major network, a bizarre comedy that supposedly aired once and vanished. The grainy VHS clip showed awkward laugh tracks, strange characters, and a studio logo in the corner. Fans swore they had seen it live as kids, treating it like a piece of buried television history. But years later, researchers uncovered the truth. It was a fan-made parody, stitched together from scraps of unrelated shows and fake laugh tracks. The entire lost pilot myth existed only because people wanted to believe they had stumbled on forbidden television. Number 13. The paranormal basement tape. Around 1986, a chilling VHS began making the rounds, supposedly recorded by a family who captured ghostly figures moving in their basement. Shadows flickered, a door slammed, and a faint childlike whisper echoed through the grainy audio. For many, it was terrifying proof of the supernatural. But when investigated, everything fell apart. The ghosts were simply actors, the sound effects added later, and the entire setting staged in a rented storage unit. What's most shocking is that the hoax wasn't made to fool the world. It started as a prank between friends that spiraled into legend. And if a homemade ghost video could terrify entire neighborhoods, the next fake would strike an even deeper nerve by targeting the one thing everyone trusted at the time, the nightly news. Number 12. The fake disaster broadcast. In 1985, a chilling clip appeared, a local TV news station supposedly cutting to live coverage of a chemical plant explosion. Sirens wailed, anchors looked panicked, and the screen flickered with dramatic breaking news graphics. People who saw it swore they remembered the event, even though no such disaster had ever occurred. The truth? It was created as a demo reel by a production crew experimenting with graphics and effects. Someone leaked it, stripped out the disclaimers, and the tape was passed around as proof of a covered-up catastrophe. It became one of the most convincing hoaxes of the decade, reminding everyone that sometimes the scariest lies come not from the streets or basements, but from screens we're trained to trust. Number 11. The exploding arcade cabinet. In 1984, whispers spread of an arcade machine that literally exploded after someone hit a high score. A grainy video surfaced, showing sparks, smoke, and teenagers running for cover. For years, this was traded as proof of cursed machines in dingy arcades. But the explosion was nothing more than a rigged smoke bomb planted by pranksters. Still, it became legend because arcades were already tied to mystery and danger. Wow, people truly believed a video game could kill you. And if kids could believe their games might fight back, imagine how easily adults were fooled by the next viral fake. Number 10. The politician's hot mic. A VHS circulated in 1986, supposedly catching a well-known politician saying shocking things off camera. People swore it was the first real hot mic scandal, but the audio was dubbed. The leak was crafted by satirists to mock political speeches. Despite the fake, it spread like wildfire, making headlines before anyone verified it. Wow, a parody tape nearly derailed a career, and that opened the door for another hoax that pushed disbelief even further, this time into the realm of horror. Number 9. The haunted commercial. By 1987, a creepy commercial circulated on VHS showing a toy doll that appeared to move on its own. Children screamed, and some parents swore the video had been pulled from TV because it was too real. But when examined closely, the doll's movements were just stop-motion animation shot frame by frame. A clever edit made it look alive. What made it unforgettable was how many people insisted they remembered seeing it air. A fake commercial turned into a false childhood memory. Wow, nostalgia itself became the trick. And if a toy could terrify an entire generation, the next fake would be even more bizarre. Number 8. The popcorn phone trick. In the mid to late 1980s, whispers began about a video showing friends placing kernels of popcorn around early cell phones. As the phones rang, the kernels supposedly popped into fluffy popcorn right on the table. People treated it like proof that the new wireless signals were dangerously powerful. VHS copies of the clip circulated through schools and offices, turning into one of the decade's most unsettling rumors. But here's the truth. No such phenomenon ever existed in the 80s. The version most people remember didn't actually appear until years later, created by marketers staging the entire stunt with hidden heat sources. By backdating it, the hoax tapped into fears of mysterious technology in the 1980s. Number 7. The Phantom Rock Concert. One of the most enduring myths of the 80s was the so-called lost concert videos. VHS tapes appeared at flea markets claiming to show legendary artists, from Prince to Madonna, performing secret sets in smoky clubs. Blurry cameras, screaming fans, and muffled audio made them feel authentic. Entire fan communities swore they remembered hearing about these shows on the radio. But none of it was real. These tapes were carefully spliced edits, blending bits of televised performances, overdubbed tracks, and fake crowd noise. Sellers labeled them with exclusive dates that never existed. The deception worked because in the pre-internet era, you couldn't verify a tour schedule in seconds. Nostalgia filled in the blanks. Wow, millions believed they missed out on concerts that never happened. And if fans could be tricked into chasing phantom performances, imagine what happened when a video made them think they were seeing something even bigger, proof of the supernatural. Number 6. The disappearing child in TV frame. Whispers circulated of a 1988 family home video that showed a child walking behind their mother. only to vanish mid-shot as the mother turns around in shock. Rumors claim the tape was confiscated, aired once on a local channel, and then buried because it was too spooky. The footage spread among VHS collectors as one of the creepiest viral glitches. But as forensic video analysts later revealed, nothing paranormal occurred. The child's disappearance was a simple splicing trick, a cut from a separate scene masked with a subtle frame overlay. A flash frame was inserted, then the clip resumed in another angle, creating the illusion of vanishing mid-walk. There was no ghost, no divine trick, just editing sleight of hand. Wow, people truly believed the person walking simply blinked out of reality. And if a basic cut trick could fool so many into believing a child vanished, the deception gets more daring. Number 5. The instant tattoo transfer trick. In the late 80s, a bizarre video made rounds among tape traders. It showed someone wetting a blank patch next to their skin, pressing on an image, and watching ink magically transfer like a tattoo. The clip claimed to be a 1987 TV magic commercial gone viral test, a fad so futuristic it terrified conservative viewers. But the effect was staged decades later using temporary transfer decals and backward editing. The version circulated as 80s Original was a retro recreation with grain filters and artificial static. No such instant tattoo trick existed in 1987. Wow, people insisted they saw this trick on TV when it never aired at all. If folks were convinced a tattoo could imprint itself with tape and water, imagine what's next when depth illusions take over memory itself. Number 4. The haunted doll commercial. By 1987, a VHS clip began spreading that seemed like a nightmare in advertising. It showed a children's toy commercial where a doll, sitting on a chair, suddenly turned its head and blinked directly at the camera. Parents claimed the ad was banned for scaring kids. Others swore they remembered seeing it air once on TV before it was pulled forever. But when experts traced the tape, it turned out to be stop-motion animation created by independent filmmakers. Never a real commercial. The banned ad was nothing more than a clever hoax, sold to VHS collectors as lost footage. What's jaw-dropping is how many people defended their memories of seeing it live. Wow, an entire generation remembered a commercial that never existed. Number 3. The Darth Vader reaction tape. Few moments in cinema history were as shocking as Darth Vader revealing, "I am your father." So when a grainy VHS surfaced in the early 80s, showing a living room full of fans screaming and collapsing in disbelief during that exact moment, people treated it as priceless history. For decades, the tape was used as proof of how audiences really reacted in 1980. But here's the secret. It was staged. The people in the clip weren't unsuspecting fans. They were friends of a filmmaker acting out exaggerated reactions. The timing didn't even make sense. The tape claimed to predate the film's home release. Yet millions believed it, cementing the footage as authentic. And if people could be tricked into believing they'd witnessed history, the final 2 entries on this list showed just how far fakery in the 80s could really go. Number 2. The Golden Eagle snatching the baby. If you've been on the internet long enough, you've probably seen it. A grainy clip of a giant eagle swooping down in a park, grabbing a toddler with its talons and lifting the child off the ground before dropping them seconds later. For years, people swore it was an authentic 1980s nature documentary outtake that resurfaced decades later on VHS. Parents repeated the story as if it were a warning, and entire forums debated which park it supposedly happened in. But the truth is far more shocking. The video wasn't from the 1980s at all. It was created by animation students in Montreal using CGI, released in the early 2000s. By adding VHS filters, fake shakiness, and backdating the story, the hoax slipped perfectly into the nostalgia people already had for weird 1980s videos. The brilliance of the trick was psychological. People wanted to believe they remembered it. Even major news outlets briefly reported on it as though it might be real. Number 1. The time capsule video that predicted the future. At the top of the list is a VHS tape that claimed to be a lost time capsule from 1982. In it, a person appears to describe events in the 1990s and 2000s, the rise of personal computers, global warming, futuristic phones. When it resurfaced in the 2000s, many believed it was genuine proof someone predicted modern life back then. It circulated as the prophecy tape we found in Mom's attic. But decades later, investigators unearthed the truth. It was shot in 2005, deliberately styled with 80s props, wardrobe, film grain, and even static to mimic early camcorder footage. The prophecies were just someone making bold guesses about trends, then packaging them in a convincing retro shell. Wow, an entire generation believed we had someone predicting the future 20 years ago, when it was just a clever reenactment. Now, back to you. The next time you stumble across a grainy clip claiming to be a lost 80s video, ask yourself, do you really remember it? Or are you remembering the story someone wanted you to believe? If this countdown left you saying wow more than once, hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more deep dives into the wildest forgotten corners of pop culture.